Hi, Michal. How are
Hi,
you?
I'm fine, chill.
So, can you tell me a bit about yourself? Like, where do you live now?
Yeah, sure. I'm Michael Keller. I'm from Switzerland. I'm living in the east part of the country, close to the Austrian border. Well, I had an apprentice after my school time, my obligatory school. I had an apprenticeship as a carpenter. Um, af After I finished my apprenticeship, I start to go to the army. That's obligatory in Switzerland. And that was the time when I moved it with the army. And yeah, now I'm in a paramedic school to get a paramedic.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And tell me a bit more. Like, where were you for the job and for how long?
Well, I was in Kosovo. Kosovo is a country in Europe. Yeah, and I was there 1 year
Yeah.
in with the Swiss Armed Forces. And yeah, I was 6 months in the south in Prizren, and I was 6 months up in the north of the country in Zubin-Botok.
Okay, okay. And what did you exactly do in Kosovo?
Well, Well, I was a liaison monitoring officer. The short for it is LMT. We was like the eyes and the ears of the KFOR. The KFOR, it's the special mission in Kosovo. Well, our job was a situation update, a daily situation update of that region.
Okay, okay, okay. Interesting. Can you tell me, like, in a small time situation when you were in Kosovo?
Yeah, I was there in spring 14 to spring 15, 6 months first in Prizren, south, and then 6 months in the north.
Okay, okay. Something about living in Kosovo, not besides from the working part. How
Yeah.
was it to live there?
Well, that was really fun, really good question because first, in the first 6 months, we was living in a safe house.
Yeah.
Me and my team, we was 9 people in total. My team was four, myself and 4 soldiers, and we was living there with the people together.
Yeah.
We was guests in their city. We had our house was rented by the government, but it was a civilian house. It was not a special house. It was just construct for us. We was there. We was buying uh, food on a local market. We need to organize all by ourselves. Also, we need to pay the electric taxes. Well, we don't pay it, of course. The government paid, but the guys was there. We need go to the to the pollution office and pay our taxes. We had to look that when we was there in a city that we get a parking lot. We was like living like the normal people.
Yeah.
But the difference was we were in uniform. We were in the flag, of course, of Switzerland, and we was also armed every time because there was the rule. A soldier just go out of the camp or of the house when he's armed, and that was the reason why the people easily recognize us as a K4 soldier because you wear a uniform, you wear wool camouflage, you wear a beret
Yeah, of
because
course. Yeah.
the people can see you are from the K4 and you're a member of it. And then people start to interact with you and it was really interested in you. Or for example, the children, well, not children, the teens wanted to take selfies with you because you were like a little bit of an attraction.
Yeah.
And yeah, you was just there and yeah, was living between the people, and that was really funny. And especially when you can see the other cultures and the other influences of the people, that was interesting.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah. You told me about the interaction with the people. Can you give me another example of it?
Yeah, of course. For example, it was really interesting how the people are thinking in Kosovo. For
Yeah.
example, the people are mostly not so rich.
Yeah.
Even mostly they are poor. They have not too much, and but they are open. They're really open and they love it to share it. For example, we was invited by a farmer, and he invited us, my team, for a dinner. Well, of course, we accepted his invitation. We was there and it was like the whole table was full of food.
Yeah.
But we know
Really.
that that guy, that farmer, had not too much money, or it was expensive. It was like meat, fish. He even slaughtered a whole lamb for us,
Wow.
sir. And we was a little bit like, well, we know how much money it is for him, or but he loved it to spend with to share it with us because he when he invited us in his house, is his rule that he really wants to give us a good memory and a good food. But we was not allowed to give him something back, or because when you gave him money for something like that, he get upset, and that was the reason why we spent him cigarettes, because with the cigarettes he can buy other stuff that's like money for him. And when for one package original Americans or European cigarettes,
Yeah.
he can buy food for a half of a week.
Okay. Well, you told me that you were the first 6 months you were in the safe house.
Yeah,
Where were you the last 6 months?
we was up in the north in a camp.
Yeah.
It was protected by the Norwegian
Yeah.
army. It was a French camp, and there I lived for the last 6 months because we had a safe house in Subimbotok, but it was too dangerous to stay there.
Okay. The second or the third part will be about the working abroad.
Yeah, sure.
How was it for you? Was it hard for being away from home?
Well, yeah, on one part, yes, it was, but on the other side, it was also interesting to have to be more flexible, or and to have work and to have to meet other peoples, also to work with completely new faces. I never met that people before, and then you will live really close together in small containers, or two guys together in one room. And yeah, it was for me it was a good and interesting experience. Of course, I missed my family, my friends, but yeah, it could happen.
Did you had any vacation during your year?
Yeah, I had 2 weeks in summer and 2 weeks in winter time, but I took and I fly there back to Switzerland.
Okay, okay, okay. So that's pretty nice.
Yeah,
Can you describe like a normal day from in during the year?
yeah, sure.
How the days look like?
Well, in the morning we had a morning briefing. That means we all get together in an office at 7 o'clock in the morning,
Yeah.
where we get the task. For example, when there was a request for information from the NATO command, when they wanted to know something especially, we get the task to find out what they want to know, or we read our the newspaper, and we get a small newspaper update that we know what will happen maybe, or for example when there was a protest, or there was some huge festival or wedding, whatever. We wanted to know that, and we wanted to observe that. Um, and there was the moment when we get all the information, and after that the whole team split up in three sub teams. We all had every sub team had their own car. We go out, and then we was in our area, had meetings with, for example, the mayor of the municipality, or with the chief of the police station there, or with somebody else, just with a owner of a coffee shop, sitting together and talk about. Or when we had a request for information, we go especially to people who we think he can know it.
Yeah.
Well, after that, we eat lunch in the area. Otherwise, we was in a restaurant, or we take a meal, Emery's meal ready to eat. They are horrible, but you can have them. We return it, and we had the second briefing. We had at 1600 at 4 o'clock afternoon. Then we write our reports, what we have done, what we have done, what we hear in our area, and at 1700 we had to send the reports to the NATO command, and from that we also was out. One team was in the summer, every night was two teams out, because the city are crowded in the night, or and then we was observing that, just was walking around a little bit and looking what happens, more to show presence that we are here. That was every time one team. The other teams had like
Okay.
not day off, but they was free to do.
Yeah. 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 An all other question during the year, were you allowed to contact your family whenever or friends whenever you wanted to?
Sure. About, of course, not during the working time, but after in the evening, I we had Wi-Fi, we could
Hmm.
Skype. We also had from the Swiss Post Office free packages until 5 kilograms.
Yeah.
That was really nice because with that our families could send us, for example, a special drink that we love or something to eat. Until 5 kilogram, it was absolutely free, and the government paid, and also let us whatever you want.
The next part will be about adapting abroad. Did you notice any cultural differences or cultural shocks?
Yeah, yeah, there was some huge culture shock. So, for example, I was really I never before lived in an Islamic country,
Yeah.
and the south of Kosovo is Islamic, and well, not a problem, but the culture difference is huge. For example, the girl have officially the same rights and the same and anything like the guys, but when you go to to a house or you are invited in a house, they're just sitting mans and talking with you, and the girls or the woman is in a kitchen and preparing food or making tea, coffee, whatever, but you not will face them. But they are not so extremely Islamistic, but you can feel the influence of it. And yeah, and that was also what I'm really was interesting. What was really interesting that the people have so a problem to trust the government in Kosovo.
What do you mean about trusting
They,
issues?
yeah, they have really trust issues because the people, the politics in Kosovo, they say to the people, yeah, we will do fix it, we will build up no new roads, we will do anything will be good and perfect, and we will do it, but they do nothing. And they're looking more for themselves and for the small villages than for all of them, and the people are really get tired of it. They really lost the trust in the government.
Because of all the lying.
Exactly. And they have no influence, or the people they're just feeling like, yeah, okay, what we can change, we can't change anything. And that's the reason why they lost a little bit of trust in the country and in the government.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Um, well, actually, the last question that I have for you is, what can you say about the experience? Did you learn something about it, or yeah, of course, you've learned a lot, but
Yeah. Well, when we let it out, what I learned about the work, it was a personal, for me personally, it was really interesting. It was like, but in the beginning, when I start or when I get interest in that to work for the NATO and that, I was like really optimistic. I was like thinking, yeah, I can change that. I can change something in that country. I can change anything, or I can help the people there.
yeah,
Well, after my mission, I can say I don't change the country, but the country changed me.
yeah,
I learned a lot about myself and about my behavior and how I am and how I am under stressful reaction.
yeah,
But for myself, it was more a personal, really, really a good experience. But for working, it was also interesting to work with other nations and other armies.
hmm,
But it's not. I'm glad that it's finished because it was sometimes a heavy time.
yeah, yeah. I can definitely understand that. Mm. Well, then I guess that we have all our questions, and then I would say like thank you for your time,
You're welcome.
and then I will see you the next time.
I hope so.
Okay.